starting with the GCSE music and what you have to do. For GCSE music, there are 3 main sections. So performing and composing are both coursework. However, most of this you'll be expected to do at home, as the majority of the lesson time will be spent on the 40% of listening. This is for our test at the end of the year. For your performance, you have to perform 2 pieces on any instrument. Singing is included. If you wish, you could do 1 instrument, say, for example, piano for your first piece, and then for your second piece, you could do your singing. One of these pieces has to be a solo, so performed on your own, one as a group. So, for example, if you were singing, it sounds a bit odd, so you'd have to use a backing track for your solo, whereas when you sing in your ensemble piece, you would have somebody else doing the chords on the piano or the guitar, then you'd have drums and a bass, for example. Each of these equally weighted 15% of your coursework. You must be able to play from a reasonable grade already. I don't like saying grades because people get put off if they've never taken a grade. You could be at quite a high grade, but not know it because you've never taken a grade. However, this does come with a warning that grade 4 is the only grade piece that you'll be able to get the level 9, the kind of the old A-star equivalent top grade. However, again, I don't like saying grades because you could, if you're a grade 2, still get like a level 6 for your performance. So don't think unless you're a grade 4, you couldn't do the performance. You have to provide a copy of your music because I'm going to mark you against that music. Now, this is where the GCSE and the BTEC are different. The GCSE, as I said, you do most of your coursework at home. You practice, you have lessons outside of your GCSE class lessons. Then you come in, you perform your piece, you record it in front of myself, plus whoever else is in your ensemble group. But I'm only interested in the final recording. For your other coursework, composition. So composing means writing your own song. So again, don't be frightened if we haven't done much of this in class. We talk you all through this. There's lots of after-school support for this. You'll have to perform, same as you're performing, 2 pieces you'll have to compose, but there'll be a set brief. Each year, the exam board releases different briefs. So it might be write a pop song, or it might be write a song for a musical or for a film. Or it might say you specifically have to write for a solo instrument or for a duet. Each piece has to be a couple of minutes long enough for us to mark it. Again, people get frightened saying, 3 minutes is quite a long time. But if you're thinking about a pop song, by the time you've repeated all the choruses, you've only had to write the chorus once, but it will be sung several times, taking up the length of the song. All of your compositions must be written up in some form to be handed off along with your recording. You get no extra marks for if you do it in traditional notation as opposed to just writing it in letters. It's just so myself and the exam board can see what your intention was, what you meant to happen in your piece. Same as your performances. These will be worth 15% each piece for your final grade. For the listening element, this will be at the end of the year, an hour and 45-minute paper. This will be based on the 8 pieces of music that we have to learn. So as I said, most of your course will be at home, so as we can fit in all of these pieces. They'll be under 4 different topics, basically classical music, vocal music, music for stage and screen, and finally fusion music, which means music that's got a mix of 2 different songs or 2 different elements. These particular songs, so you know what you'll be studying and listening throughout the year. For your instrumental music, you'll be listening to a small orchestral piece by Bach and a piano solo by Beethoven. For vocal music, there'll be again some classical music from Purcell, but then something more modern with a band piece by Queen. When we get to music for stage and screen, there'll be one from a musical and one from a film. And then for the fusion music, there'll be some Afro-Celt and some samba. Type of questions you'll have in the exam, all these terms that we've done all throughout year 7 and 8, tempo, dynamics, these are the terms that are important, which is why we keep doing them. If you don't understand what the term means, you're going to get the question wrong. So there'll be lots of simple questions, but making sure you know what these key terms mean. Other types of questions, for example, dictation. So therefore you have to listen to a little bit of the melody, fill in the missing notes. Again, everybody gets frightened by that question, but it's only maybe 6 marks out of the entire exam, and we do practice this lots in class. Some of them might be simple multiple choice. A lot of these questions are not really things you can hear, but more revising facts. For example, you can't hear when was the piece written. This is just fact recall and revising for these types of pieces. Then when we get to the end of the exam, there is an essay question. So this one, you'll have to compare something you've already learnt about, one of those 8 pieces, with something you haven't. So for example, it might be compare these 2 pieces of film music. So comparing the Star Wars theme tune we've learnt about with James Bond and saying what's similar between them, what is different.